All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SFD Weekly, collaboration between the one and only Super Frankie Disco and yours truly with the Chris O Show. Awesome. Two awesome dudes. And today we're going to let everybody know a little bit more about what we're planning for the podcast and what we want to see. So, Frank, talk us a little bit about some of the stuff you want to see us do as we grow and we get bigger and better.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you very much for organizing the podcast or having this forum. I think it's important that I was just chatting about it with my mother and my father, and we have these funny little arguments with my mom and dad. My dad says that she's obsessed with her iPad, and I said, "Well, Dad, it's like 60 years ago when you had that one TV station, and we
Yeah.
you all had to listen to the same thing. Well, now we've got these forums, these podcasts, we've got internet, we've got Instagram, Facebook. You can pick whatever you like,
Yeah.
and and you can really kind of delve into I really love this forum. First of all, I like forums where I can watch whomever I like,
Yeah.
and I like collaborations. I'm really happy you did this. What I was hoping for from this type of podcast was a bit of like an untamed, if we give it a bit of a name, call it the untamed, and just learn about people in different comedians, actors, artists, people from all walks of life, and chat with them and ask them questions. And you
Yeah.
and I can give them the gears a little bit and just have a little bit of fun with it. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I was hoping for. I don't need to talk too much about myself, even though as men and women, we all love to talk about
Yeah.
ourselves. I'm going to try to hold back as much as I can, but just a cool forum. So, what I was hoping for was that, I think everybody likes celebs.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to see a celeb. So, what I was hoping for in the next, let's say few months was to try to get to some people that I've met recently. AJ Lawson, who's a Raptor. I'm sure I could get him on. He's a new Raptor. I'm sure I was actually just talking to my friend who's at the Padel court. I'm sure we could get that Sebastian Jevchenko, who was a
Okay.
TFC player. Unfortunately, I don't think his English is that great, so you might have to speak Italian to him. I was
There you go.
with your broken Italian. I'm sure it's not that great, but um, I would love to see Snow, who I recently met over the last few months. So I know that he'll come on. Rasta Phil, I thought I just texted him about 30 minutes ago, so he may not be near his phone, but I'm sure we
Yeah.
can get him on the podcast. So try to start getting some real celebs. I got
Yeah.
friends who know Marlon Wayans. I'm hoping to get some celebs to the thing and just talk about different, their experiences. So,
Yes.
sports better than I do. I know perhaps maybe some business guys that I can get on here.
Yeah.
You do too, I'm sure. And just kind of that was my, say funny things because in my culture, which is the Polish culture, we like to make jokes a lot.
Yeah.
It's a very big part of what we like to do. So maybe get some people talking and open them up a little bit. So that's kind of what I was hoping for with these podcasts on a go forward is just like maybe you pick a topic for the week or I pick a topic for the week. And then we just kind of like see where it goes with the interesting people we bring on.
I love it. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. And we can, like you said, we can even get, some politicians. We can get,
Well, I
a
saw you had some
comedian.
political people, right?
Yeah, I got some political people I can get on. I'm doing some interviews with them on my other show, and I wanted to talk to them too about saying, hey, why don't you come on the SFD weekly show too with us, with me and Frank, and then we can do some collaboration that way as well. Just expand who we've got coming
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and just have some fun with it, right? And so I
So
love that idea.
I've truthfully, I've had a lot of people say to me, Frank, you need a podcast, you need a podcast, you need a
Yeah,
podcast. And this is what I say to everybody. And I say this, and I'm not talking out of my butt. I get a lot of people call me that say, oh, Frankie, be my mentor on like business. And but truthfully, I don't really know that much about business, but people, because I post so much, they think I know a lot. So uh,
nice.
it, 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 it gained with the podcast thing. People are like, well, Frank, you should have a podcast. And Frank, can you be part of my business? I am happy to be part of any good stuff that sounds good,
Yes.
or any business that is kind of real. But I also only have a certain amount of time. So I love that you are taking the time to do this podcast, because I would never be able to put it together because I just don't have that kind of time anymore,
Yeah.
because I have a few things going on. So I really appreciate that you're doing this. I'm glad you're having me on here, and I hope it grows and expands, because everybody talks. People love to talk. You should do this. You should do that. Well, we all should do a million things in life,
It's
but
true.
you only have you only have a certain amount of time, right?
It's true. It's true. And the one thing I love about you and me is when we say, okay, let's do something, we try and do it. We
I
said,
just, I just,
we
I
try
just
and
try
do
to
it.
show up.
Yeah.
I just try to
It's
show
true.
up. I don't think about it too much. I just try to show up. I just try to do my best. You're gonna miss some stuff, but
I know. And that's what I love. And so this is why I think that it's great that we're doing this. I appreciate your thanks, but I appreciate you taking time because I know how busy you are. And you know how much I got on the go. I know how much you got on the go.
of
And
course,
and the fact that we wanted to do something fun together and we just did it is what I always tell people. Like people are like, "Oh, I got to plan everything." No, just do it. You know what? Jump in, learn by doing, and things will happen if they're meant to happen. And I bet you put some time in, you put a little effort, you put some love into something, and it grows, right? It's like your mom. She's a florist, right, by trade, and she knows
yeah.
all about putting love into that, and it grows, right?
It's unbelievable. I'm sitting here and on TV with my parents. I'm going to turn this maybe camera around. I don't know if you guys can see this, but
Yeah,
I'm sitting here and on TV with my parents, and my parents are down there. I'll zoom my mom and my dad,
yeah,
and this is where we kind of stay. Uh, some year, most years actually, we stay here for a week, and then we're going to go off to the south of France. Cute little hotel.
yeah,
Anyways, and I was just chatting with my parents, and I was just chatting with my parents about life, and I said, "Mom, Dad, because they were arguing a little bit in the morning." I said, "I'm so proud of you guys, And my mom said, "Well, why?" I said, "Well, because I met a friend in Central Bay last week." And I said, "I'm so proud of my mother." And he said, "Why?" I said, look at this video. And it was my mother dancing at one of these party nightclubs. And she's 77 years old, you know. And I said, "That's
that's
why I'm
awesome.
proud of my mother." And I just telling her that. And I said, "Dad, I'm so proud of you." And he said, "Well, why?" I said, "Dad, because, David and I, my brother, last week I was showing someone a video of you windsurfing last year in Miami, and you're 75 years old flying along the beach." And and I don't know why even I brought that up, but it's just like, that's life. It's just these little things
Yeah,
that my parents have taught me over the years. Is just like, just go do it.
yeah,
Don't think about it too much, just go do it. Go
yeah,
do it over and over. And I've watched my dad over the years. He's become a great tennis player, a skier, a windsurfer, a bridge player. He still works, and he just
yeah.
does. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't think about it. He loves to make jokes. He loves to party, and it's just the little things every day. Don't. We were just talking about it. He said, "Oh, like planning things is great, but what about just going out and doing them?
Yeah.
Like."
Yeah, just let's go and do it. And the other day, like we were talking about the other day, I was sitting there and I did remember that I did that article about just go to the beach, take some
Yeah,
time, go to the beach, right? Remember a couple weeks ago? And it's like the other
yeah.
day I was sitting with my daughter and I had done a bunch of work and I was like, I just needed a break. And I looked at her and I was like, "Do you want to go jump off a dock?" She's like, "Yeah." So we went to like we don't have a dock, but we live close to lots of docks. And we went and found a dock and we jumped off a dock for like half an hour and swam. And I'm like, you just go do things that are fun and get that spirit in you, right? So
Just go do things. Mm, at least one night a week, I throw either my daughter or my son or both of them in the car, and we just go for a cruise around the city and sing songs. And like, because I
yeah,
love going for a cruise. I did
that's
like I
awesome.
did when I was 19 years old. I throw them in the car with me. I throw on music, and I just go for a cruise. I don't even think about it. I
That's
just
awesome.
people say, "Well, where are you driving to?" I'm like, "Nowhere. We're just going for a cruise."
Yeah. You know what though? That's awesome. Because and that's something nobody does anymore.
I
Nobody
just go
just
for a cruise.
just going for yeah, just going for a cruise, listen to some tunes, check out what's going on, maybe stop and grab a coffee, whatever, right?
Stop, grab a coffee, maybe have an ice cream somewhere down there. If not, or we do or we don't, pass by, maybe go to literally just go for a cruise. Enjoy the driving, the nice sound system in your car,
Yeah,
drive at a nice pace, and
that's it.
I drove here from Saint Tropez to Antibes. It could take you an hour and a half along the highway, or you take the coast and it takes you 6 hours. And you know what I did? I took the coast.
Yeah,
I just cruised. I put the music on, and I wanted to show my parents the whole coast. It probably took us 8 hours by the end of it, and we just drove nice. And because I'm very comfortable in a car, I like being in a car, and it was not really nice. And I think that personally, I think a lot of people miss just smelling the roses.
yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. It's just taking the time, like you said, and enjoying what's around you, enjoying the surroundings, taking it all in. Like this world is an amazing place with so much beauty and so much amazing stuff that we get in the rat race. We're just always go, 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 go. Well, no, slow it down. Slow it down, chill out. I love that you took
It
extra time to get somewhere to enjoy the beauty out there.
Enjoy. You got this nice car with a great sound system. You got nice seats. The cars that they rent for you now are like unbelievable, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's true.
for what you get, like you get the sound system that like blow your mind. The car's so quiet, it's like EV rated, so it's like the battery you barely hear the
Yeah,
car. It
yeah,
like your AC is basically perfect. So it's like what? This is like complete luxury, right? Like
yes,
it's like and you just rent this little Renault at the thing, and it's
true.
like, that was probably one of the most fun days that we just chit chat and drive and talk, and I think that like, you know, I, not that this we constantly want to make this about ourselves, but I think that that's what we learn from each other,
Yeah,
and what you learn from people that hopefully are going to be on this show is that
yes,
every walk of life is slightly different. I've been personally blessed by two parents who have just been really just go do kind of stuff.
yeah,
They've just both of my parents are that way, and I'm really lucky. So I'm just having a lot of fun with them as they get older. We travel a lot together. We were just in San Tropez for the week. We had a house with my kids and my family, and we just a lot of laughs, a lot of dancing, a lot of drinking, a lot of
nice.
Uh, not that I think I'm that different than anybody else, but sometimes I'm like, well, did you enjoy yourself? Like,
Yeah,
and not that I want to continue talking, but a lot of people are saying, "Oh, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that." If you have drinking issues, don't drink. But like,
yeah,
don't bug me if I'm having a few drinks. I don't necessarily. I'm not perhaps as ambitious. Whereas at 9 o'clock in the morning, I want to be at the office making $1 billion like you do.
yeah,
You know, I'm happy with who I am. So,
yes.
and I also like to party. I think that a lot of people forget that having fun should still be a big part of your life.
It needs to be. It needs to
It
be.
needs to be. And I think a lot of people forget that.
They do. They do. I mean, I forgot that for a while too, and then I remembered. That's
Like
true.
Chris, you and I we were in high school together, and we're probably looking at each other going, we're 48.
Yeah,
2 years from now is 50.
yeah,
Like, remember when when your parents turned 50? That
yeah.
was old.
That was old. I know. We're not old though. We're not old.
We don't feel it, but clearly our kids think we are.
It's true. It's true. I think my kid called me a boomer the other day, and I said, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not a boomer. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. I see you like a kid, right?
Yeah,
To me, you're a kid,
yeah,
but to them,
exactly.
we're old.
It's true. It's true. It's so true.
So, you know, as we know, not that I always talk about this, but it's become a big part of my life. I talk about CAMH and mental health and
Yes,
all these things, and this is not what happened to me, but for a lot of people, I see they're so stressed out
yeah,
and so pent up. And I'm saying you gotta relax. You gotta learn how to relax again. North
100%.
American society has taught people that success is like really derived from financial success, work success, and and what about just the success of just being able to wake up and have a laugh and just
It's
going
true.
for a walk, and that's to me is beautiful. Have a great conversation,
Yeah,
and
it's true.
competition's good, but there's a point where competition gets a little screwed up. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you. It's one of those things where that's why I love hanging out with my kids sometimes because we laugh so loud together. We make each other laugh. We're all ridiculous. And then, sometimes my wife will be like, "You guys are just being so childish." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we need to be. It's childish sometimes. We need to be silly. We need to have a silly laugh. We need to dance in the kitchen when a Taylor Swift song comes on or something. You know what I mean?" So,
100%.
right?
100,
So,
especially when a Taylor Swift song.
exactly.
Who's
We
the other
need
one that's
Taylor
pretty
Swift.
good?
We need
Who's the
Taylor
other one that's
Swift to
pretty
come
good?
on.
Who's the other one that's pretty good? Sophia Carpenter. What's her name?
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter.
I like her too. She's good.
Clearly, you have daughters.
I have one son, one daughter, so we're good.
Oh yeah, so you're like me. That's right.
Yeah. So, but my son's almost done high school. His last year of high school now.
What?
Mhm. Dante is he turned 17 in November, and he's going into his last year of high school this year.
Is your wife Italian?
No, she's half Polish. Her dad's from Poland. God rest. Both her parents have passed. And her mom was from the Maritimes. She was Acadian.
Well, but why the hell did she let you give your kid a name like Dante, such an Italian name?
Okay, so our
Or
kids
is
are
it
Dante and Juliet, and the reason, and she actually helped pick them because they're literary names. Because I'm a writer by profession.
uh-huh.
So Dante, like the guy who wrote Dante's Inferno, right? Dante Alighieri.
Okay, is it an Italian name?
Yeah, it's an Italian name.
It it's an Italian name, but were both your parents Italians?
No, so my dad is from Calabria and grew up in Rome before he came to Toronto. And then my mom is actually from Varaždin, Croatia.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, they met at Central Commerce in Toronto.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they're
Wow,
both,
so you're only a half
both immigrants.
Italian.
Yeah, yeah. But I grew up in that culture because my mom didn't have a lot of family here.
So you went to Nona's and
I
all
went to
that.
Nonas and all that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that. So like the name Dante. So Dante could be very Italian. It could also be kind of like Jamaican, like
yeah. They
Dante.
they took it. They took it from the Italians.
They stole it.
They stole it.
No, no, it's a great name. It's a
It
great
is a
name.
good
So I'm
name.
surprised you got your way,
I did
because
it.
I didn't
She
get my.
picked it. My
Yeah,
wife
right.
picked
Yeah,
it.
right.
Swear to
Yeah,
God,
right.
she picked
Well,
Dante.
it's a beautiful name. I just thought you would have picked it because it's Italianish. I didn't get my way at all with Oscar or Pearl, but whatever. I'm happy with what they got. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then we got Juliet with the Shakespearean spelling.
with
So
an E,
no, Shakespearean is ends at the T, like Romeo and
is it
Juliet.
Juliet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
like the French Julien
yes, Juliet. Yeah. So,
with the
anyways,
E.
yeah, that's why. But
My
don't.
daughter is my daughter is Pearl, but
Yes.
like the French Pearl. So she's Perle, not with an A. So
No,
she's
no.
Perle.
Pad. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
nice. That's nice. And
It's not. I was actually. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the name Oscar. But whatever. It is what it is. I and then if my wife had another daughter, it would have been Blanche. So Pearl and Blanche. I don't know. It is what it is.
it is
I
what
have
it
to.
is.
It
That's it.
is
But
what it
anyways, my
is.
wife chose those names. So like she's the one who carried them. So,
I feel the same way. I was like totally crazy about my wife having my last name. And then after I had my kids, I'm like, what do I really care? It's just annoying when you're traveling sometimes and you're like
Yes.
checking in and it's like two different people. I think for her career, she thought it was so important to kind of keep her name kind of going. And
Yeah.
now that I've become such an idiot, it's actually not the worst thing that she has her own name because then she could be like only later do people find out that I'm her husband, you know? Because she's like a like a professional, and then they're like, "You're married to him?" Oh,
That's
like,
hilarious. So my wife
what
and
does
I,
your wife do? What does
she took
your wife do?
was oh she's in healthcare. So she takes care of people with she does rehab therapy for people with acquired brain injuries.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a tough job, but it's an important job. So
So I think do you remember Eric Sawokis? His wife is was a doctor who specialized in rehab for people who have had brain injuries like strokes and
yeah, yeah.
so I don't know what that's called, but she's that's what she specializes in.
As her doctorate. That's awesome.
Yeah, so she works in that field, and Julia,
How is Eric?
oh, he's great.
That's awesome. He's doing
Yeah,
good.
he's great. Yeah, we see each other. We're members of this like little gym near where we grew up, and so Belly's there, Farshad's there, Eric's there, and a bunch of other people from like Cumberside are kind of joining. So
Nice. That's awesome. It's
yeah,
awesome you get to see him. You're bringing in all the people.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So the old boys that we know from a long time ago are still there, and it's great.
Yeah,
And
it's great.
so
Why
what else is going on? So
we gotta get Belly on the show.
oh yeah, we'll get Belly. But you know how Belly is. He likes to be a little more incognito.
It's true at times. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're with him, he's fun. But when he's very business oriented, so he's not like me. He's not as crazy as me out there.
Yeah.
Um, but I was actually just talking about him with my mother and my father because he likes to show up late and leave early. You know,
Yeah.
he's one of those guys. And we were kind of we were just talking about this. There's this Italian kind of thing because this friend of mine, he's a plastic surgeon, Frank Lista. He said, Frank, you have to remember this about the Italians. He said to me, you have to remember this. Italians have this thing called la bella figura,
Yeah.
and la bella figura is how you look, to your family, to the public,
Yeah.
to the people around you, to your business, and it's very important in the culture. And we don't, I don't quite have that, or maybe I do. Maybe I like to think, I'm a little more free. And he said, well, that's how Italians are. So he said, you'll notice that, like when you're doing some of your crazy stuff, they're like, oh, interesting. We would never, do that. And I was also talking about, I'm in France right now, and I was just telling my dad he's never been to Italy. So I said, Dad, I'm going to drive all the way down to San Remo here from Antibes. So it's about, an hour and 45 minutes. And I
Yeah.
said, I really want to take you to these um, what are these auto grills? The auto grill, for all of you who don't know it, is like a gas station that has the best food at it ever. So if you're driving through Italy, these places have the best espresso, the
Yeah.
best sandwiches, the best, and people stop there. They have their espresso while they're
Yeah.
driving, and the food is amazing. So I told my dad, if I take you anywhere, I'm going to get gas at the auto grill. You're going to die. You're going to have espresso there with me, and it will stop in San Remo and take the coast back. So that's my plan with my dad. Um,
That sounds wonderful.
Tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. I love it. That's awesome. You should do that. That's so good. You gotta take
Yeah.
advantage. I love that.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
I
I
love
think
that.
that a lot of people forget that. I think that Europeans are pretty good at trying to remember family,
Mhm. Yep.
especially when they're in Europe. And I think that what happened was I got my own philosophies because I'm an immigrant. I was born in Poland, and
Yep.
I came to Canada when I was about 6, 7 years old, and I would watch. I was like, well, why is they don't get together as much as we do as Europeans, and they
Yeah.
don't, they kind of push family away a little bit, and they just try to be
Yep.
themselves, and I always found that a little strange. Um, but I think it's because it was a new culture, and a lot of people left North America is only 100 years old or 150 years old or whatever
Yeah,
it is, and people have left, and they were trying to make lives for themselves, and generally left places that were either war torn or politically torn,
yeah,
or where they had these things happening,
yeah.
and it's not their fault. They were just learning. They're just trying to survive.
It's true.
Um, and so you can't blame them for that or be mad about it, but it is definitely different. And I've I think I struggled with that a lot as an immigrant kid. Just like why do people not see the family as important as I see it?
Yeah.
And anyways,
No, and you know what? You're right. Even like we grew up very family oriented. Like we were always with our family. We were always like at Nonna's house or one of my uncle's houses. We went to
Italians
it
are
always,
okay, the ones
always.
who really hold that tight are very good at that, I think.
Yeah, we tried. We always tried. We grew up like even now with so many of us displaced around the province a bit, right? We still at least once a year get together as a big group. Me and my cousins have kind of spearheaded that, where we do kind of
Yeah,
a family reunion once a year at someone's house. And just all get together and whoever can make it makes it, and we drink and we eat and we chat and we laugh, you know what I mean? um so but we always try to see each other through the year anyways, but if not, at least we know we always have that day because we're
that's
kind of
great.
all over, and
And
because it
where
is
is it
important.
generally in a park or somebody's house or?
No, usually like so the last year was at my cousin Marcello's house in Maple.
Tell me
And
all the Italian names. Tell me, I want to hear the Marcello and the Anthony.
Fabio, Marcello. That's awesome. There's my dad, Raffaele. You know what I mean? So
Oh, what a great name!
I
What a
know
great name!
it is a great name. So
Is your dad
uh,
still around, Chris?
yeah, yeah, he's up here. So my dad, after he left the city and he moved up to Huntsville with my stepmom and my brother and sister when they were little. My brother and sister grew up in Huntsville here. And then obviously I went after high school, right? And came up and started figuring out my life. He started working in the resort industry with food and beverage manager stuff on resorts. Then he became a golf manager and then operations manager with Club Link, right? And so at different courses like Lake Joseph Club, Rocky Crest Resort, Grandview, where the Marco Mira course is, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
now he's on his kind of retirement legs, but he still
yeah,
loves to work and golf. And so
good.
he's actually the membership, I think he's the membership satisfaction coordinator or something like that for Club Link, all three Muskoka properties.
Which gets them a bit of work and a bit of free golf.
Exactly.
Which is great.
Which is
No, it's
great.
funny. I was talking to some guy who's the head of golf at Club Links recently because I was trying to bug him to get us Dan Marino at our, because we have our, September 15th, we have our uh, untucked golf tournament for Cam H. And he said,
Yeah.
oh, his last name was Ray. He's a friend of my friends that we were chatting on the phone. And he said, "Oh, I can get some guys, but you guys didn't do it at a Club Links course." But anyways, he's going to try to help us. But I've grew up around Adrian Belly, a lot of Italians, and I was with a friend in Arizona a few years back, and I was in a pizza joint in Arizona, and I'm chatting with this Italian guy. I said, "I've always got along well with Italians," and he said, "Well, you're Polish, and I was married to a Polish woman." He goes, and I go, "Yeah, that's incredible." He goes, "We've got quite a long history, Poland and Italy." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Come on, tell me more." And he said, "Well, you're going to find this very interesting, but you probably don't know this, and I don't know this, and we don't. But apparently, the Italian national anthem refers to Poland. Did you know that, Chris?"
No, I didn't. I
So
didn't.
apparently, the Italian national anthem refers to Poland, and it talks about the sangue de Polacco, the blood of the
Yeah,
Polacks,
yeah, yeah.
and and apparently in our national anthem, I can't find the words. I should Google it. I never remember this. It refers to Italy. So I think like in the 16 or 1700s or 1800s, whenever that was, there was something that happened where we kind of helped each other in a certain war
Yeah.
or time, and just and I always thought, why do I get along so well with Italians? And I always thought it was because we're kind of simple. You're just like, well, if I'm going to go there, I'm not going to go 30, 40 ways around yard down there, turn over here. You're just going to go on a straight line and get there. And I
Yeah.
feel like Italians and Poles are very similar that
Yeah.
way. Like
Yeah.
the tomato, you cut the tomato, you put it in some sauce, and you got this. I think that the Poles and Italians are very similar that way, and
Yeah.
I think that there's a bit of that cultural thing where you just kind of get along, and it's just like, why are you making this so difficult? I was talking about this with my parents during our drive here, and I said, I often know it's one of my Italian friends who's trying to get a hold of me when they call,
Yeah.
because
It's true.
Italians call.
It's true.
I said, oh, it's Belly, or oh, it's Deli, or oh, it's Patrick, or oh, it's this. It's always an Italian guy who
Yeah.
calls me. Everybody else texts, they send
Yeah.
emails. They just Italians are just direct.
Yeah. If we didn't have to do so much online stuff, I would call too. Like
Yeah,
I called you when remember I was in the city visiting one time and then you were doing golf, but I called you. I
you
was
guys just
like,
call.
I just called. I was like, I'm here.
And
What are
and
you doing?
I'll be honest, I just prefer like a direct text only because just like I get tired and I talk a lot during the day. I'm a
Yeah.
salesman. So
Yes.
sometimes like after 2, 3 o'clock, I generally don't want to talk.
No,
Like
I get it.
definitely not about work.
Yeah.
Like definitely not about work. I can go screw around and have drinks
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
after 2 o'clock, but about work or anything serious, I don't want to talk after 1 or 2 o'clock. I
No,
just
I
have,
get that.
but it just is what it is. But I love that about Italians. They just call, and you're like, "Oh, that was nice. It was nice to talk."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. And you know what? It's so true. And I love when people call or I want to like talk to because I want to talk to you. But you and I talk all the
Yeah,
time now, so it's fine. We don't need to call because
yeah,
we are always video on video. But like I always want to just talk. Like yesterday I went to my friend's restaurant, that little place by the lights here, downtown Huntsville.
yeah.
Seriously, four people at the bar having a coffee and a drink, and we just shot the, just hung out for like 30 minutes. Just had a drink, hung out, caught up, and then everybody went their ways. It was beautiful.
So I think culturally Italians have that where they aperitivo, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
After work, the
Yeah.
Brits have that where they have a beer after work. They could be have a little quick one and then they go home. They just
They go home.
unwind, right? And I think that's so important. I think that's what's been lost in North American culture a little bit, right? That
It
people are
has.
just like looking at their phones and it really been lost. And I listen, I probably like that too much. Is just sitting around having cocktails and chatting. I like that more than others. So I really enjoy it. That just the socialization. Anyways, Chris, I think we're at 4:35. My parents are looking at me. We've been talking for half an hour.
That's okay.
Let's try by next week to try to get some celeb or a third. We don't always have to have one on. What do you think? I mean, some days it's just us, but other
Yeah,
times I think we should try to get some good, like really try
100%.
to organize some good people. I'm going to try to get Snow. I'm trying to get some celebs to my golf tournament and
Yep.
post the golf tournament. Then we'll try to start, and we'll try to maybe make the topics a little bit. I'd love to just maybe at the beginning, maybe a little bit of like talk about the things that make you look authentic, like or
Yep.
show that you have like some vulnerability around mental health. Even ask people, have you
Yep.
been scared? When have you been scared? Show people that like
Yep.
the honesty in some successful people that have been really successful, but they've been scared or had
Yep.
panic attacks or had crazy thoughts or because everybody has. It's just very
Yep.
hard for people to admit them. I have people who say they've never been nervous, and I'm like, okay, well, that's strange,
Yes.
like,
Yes. That
but
is
but
strange.
maybe some people are just built that way. I'm surprised because, like, I mean, I have to be honest. I have far fewer of them because I've been to a really dark place. So I'm just like, well, it can't get any worse than that. So I'm
Yeah.
almost thankful in a weird way. I've been to a really dark place. In a weird way, it's
Yeah.
like the worst thing that happened to me has become this like very big strength for me. But
Yep.
um
No, but I think you're
anyhow,
right. I think you're right. We'll get some people on. I love the idea of talking about mental health. We've all been through a lot. some of us more than others, but I think that we have to be vulnerable sometimes.
And
And
everybody's got a story, right?
it's
I may say
true.
that I've been through a lot, but everybody's got their pasts, their parents'
Exactly.
past, the things that they hold on their luggage, the things that they don't want to
Yeah.
talk about, the things that they do, the things that they're so hard to expose,
Yeah.
and some things that you may never need to expose. And one of those things that I've really learned, I have no demons. I literally have none. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. I've got great parents, and it happened to me.
Yeah.
What happened to me. I really went down this weird path, and I'm like, if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. So yeah,
True.
what I've learned is that you got to be gentle with people. You got to be
Yeah.
really gentle, and
Yeah. It's true.
because you have no clue what their baggage is like. I had zero baggage, just a
Yeah.
great little life, and it happened to me. So
Yeah. No, and I appreciate it. I think you help people by sharing your story, and it gives other people, I think, the confidence to be vulnerable and to say, you know what, I'm not alone. So I think everybody
yeah.
appreciates. I know I appreciate that you share a lot about that, and yeah, so that's awesome. But
Well,
what do you
thanks,
think?
Chris, for having us on. Let's let. I'm
Thanks for
looking
hanging
forward to
out.
next week. Let I'm looking forward to next week, and let's see who between us who can come up with somebody funky to be on here with us.
Yeah, let's get somebody for next week for sure.
Yeah, let's think
One
about that.
one way or another, we get at least one guest for next week, and then we
By the
keep
way,
going.
Chris, I haven't written my review for a restaurant for my newsletter. Is there anything I should talk about, or do you want to do the restaurant? Do you have a restaurant that you think is a must do in Muskoka?
Yeah, yeah, I got a couple.
Do you want to write the restaurant review this week?
Actually, I will grab one that I have and update it.
Okay, do that
Yeah.
and send it to Maya. So like, because I don't have anything, and my brain is kind of a
No, that's okay. I got you.
bit of mush. I'm
I
going for
got
dinner
you.
tonight, but I may drink a little too much. It might be a good fish place for the next one,
Yes.
but so if you can throw something out there, that would be awesome.
I got one for you. Don't worry. I got
Because
one. I got one.
I have a lot of rich people who read my newsletter, so Muskoka is right up their alley.
It's true. I got one for you 100%. All
All
right.
right,
Let's say goodbye. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Super Frankie. I love you, bro. And everyone,
thanks.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube, check it out. You have to check it out. All right. All
I
right.
agree. Check it out, baby.
All right. Ciao.